I am convinced that it's about time that we get the conversation on mental health going stronger than ever before, and so that it can reach as many people as possible. I am passionate about mental health. I am very passionate about mental health because of what I've learned about it, through my own experience. For this reason, I believe that they say experience is the best teacher. In this case, yes, it's my own experience with mental health challenges has taught me so much, and it's been long since I developed the desire to create mental health awareness, but I just didn't have I didn't have the balls to do it for one or two reasons. But I do agree with World Health Organization when they say that there's no health without mental health. And what that means for me is that we cannot achieve overall general health without um, without putting into account the very important place of our mental health. And I do agree with them very much because of also there is the little research that I've done, and found out that mental health and physical health are directly related. For example, poor mental health affects our physical health and vice versa. And so I believe that this channel will be a platform for many of us to start changing the narrative on mental health, because it's been really unfair. The stigma is real, the discrimination is real, and we all know where most people end when they feel that they don't have a safe space to express themselves, and that's suicide. So in order for us to change the narrative and read it and see that suicide cases are diminishing, we have to start the conversation and get it going. I want to read something here. But before I do, this is All Things Mental Health with Jay Mwangi, and you're very welcome. And I do request your support in terms of subscribing to this channel. So kindly hit the subscribe button. Also, click on the notification bell so that every time I post a new video, you are in the loop. And kindly feel free to share this video with your friends and family so that we get to reach as many people as possible, and we all grow together and we create the change that we want to see. There is something that I love very much, and I'm just going to read it. Psalm 6, it says, I am weary with my mourning. Every night I flood my bed with tears. I drench my couch with my weeping. My eye wastes away because of grief. It grows weak because of all my foes. That was David, and the reason I love this is because David is one of the people that we read about as a very strong warrior. Like he accomplished so much. He accomplished so much in his time, but yet he could write this about himself, drenching his couch with weeping, and every night he flooded his bed with tears, and things like that. That is to say that mental health is not a new thing. It was there in Bible times, and we will look at more examples as we go on. But the reason I read that is because I want to normalize it. I want to normalize mental health because it's normal. I'm not even normalizing it. It's normal. Having a mental disorder like depression and anxiety is a normal thing. So we can't be people of double standards, just talking about some normal things and not talking about the other normal things. Do you get what I'm talking about? I'm not a guru in any way. I am not a life coach of some sort. I am not. I'm just a simple guy who, for the longest time, has wanted to create mental health awareness. But because of my makeup, I did not have the balls to do it because I'm very introverted. And so I found that it would be very difficult for me to go out and talk to very many people. I think that that would give me a panic attack. Um, but I try to talk to small groups of people, and so I thought that maybe a better way of reaching many people is by doing this channel. And so that's why I ask that you share it with your friends and family, and let's get this conversation going. It was in 2018 when I decided that I wanted to create mental health awareness. It was a very dark time for me. Um, Funny thing is, I had not completely healed, but because of my experiences and some of the responses I got, I thought, crap, this it can't I can't be alone. Like there has to be people out there who are struggling as much as I am, and unless we change the narrative, then this is going to keep happening. So that's why all things mental health exists. And I hope that all of us get to learn something from it, and that in the coming years, we will see a change like we have seen in the area of HIV and AIDS. Like we have seen a huge shift. In the years gone by, there was such stigma and discrimination against people living with HIV and AIDS. And then some people, random people, just like you and I, started, holding these talks and making the conversation normal. Like HIV is a disease like cancer. It's a disease like high blood pressure, and people began accepting themselves. If they were positive, they started accepting themselves. People had patients at home started realizing that there's nothing wrong with somebody having HIV and AIDS. It's a disease like any other. And once the conversation was normalized and people understood that there's availability of medication for them, we see people living full lives for decades and decades with HIV and AIDS, and it's no longer a wonder. Nobody runs away anymore. Nobody keeps pointing fingers at people who have HIV and AIDS. Yet when somebody has depression, they have to hide and isolate. When somebody has anxiety, they won't talk about it, or bipolar. When somebody is feeling suicidal, they can't seek help in a confident manner, because you just never know who's going to mock you. You never know who's going to make you feel weak, and that is what we are trying to change, really. So, guys, I know that all things are possible. All things are possible, and I believe that with your support, this channel is going to be a huge success. I just like I have come to learn that the best way to learn about something is understand the fundamentals. So for the first few videos that I want to make, I want to talk about the fundamentals of mental health, so that we all get an idea. When in 2018, when I decided that I wanted to create this channel, I spoke to a few people, in my circles, and I said, and I asked questions like, what's your understanding of mental health? I got all sorts of answers, and one of the answers that stood out was, mental health is for crazy people that are taken to Madari Hospital. Others said that mental health, that was in 2018, mental health is a trendy thing. People are just looking for attention and validation by saying that they're mentally ill. That made me sad. It could be true to some extent. We do have toxic people out there, as we will see in the coming episodes. But a vast majority of people are seriously seeking help. They are seriously in need of loving and tender care. So I also got answers like, mental health is depression. Very many people say this. Mental health is things like depression. Well, so I just want us to lay a foundation of that we will keep coming back to, so that we all get some, important knowledge. So, mental health is a state of well being in which an individual realizes his or her own abilities, can cope with normal or daily stressors of life, can work productively, and is able to make a contribution to their society or their community. I like to look at mental health in four or three different facets, and that's the psychological, that's our thoughts, and then we have the emotional, and we have the behavioral or social well-being. Now, let me just put in a very simple way. When somebody is mentally healthy, they have a certain way of thinking, and it doesn't mean that they don't have negative thoughts. But when negative thoughts come, they know how to manage them. And when they feel negative emotions like sadness or anger or frustrations, they know how to manage their emotions. Again, they might be, when it comes to their social well-being, they might be an extrovert or an ambivert or an introvert, but they just don't like tense. Like if somebody is an introvert and they have to go out shopping, they have the capability to do that. They have the capability to hold deep and meaningful conversations. So that's a mentally healthy person. So when we are looking at mental health, we look at those four different things. We have the cognitive part of it, that's the thoughts. We have the emotional part of it. We have the social, and then we also have the behavioral. Some of the things that people do, or some manners in which that people behave, can be a telltale sign that they are okay or they're not okay. And in this in the coming series, we will look at some of those things so that we have an idea of how to spot people who are not very okay, and we will also equip ourselves with how to help ourselves and how to help those people. So what is then poor mental health? It's simply what we would not want our mental health to be. Like we are unable to control our thoughts. You hear people say that it's like their mind is racing. They can't stop to think about one thing. Every thought is overlapping the other. Every thought, and usually it's a negative, very very negative loop of thoughts. So they say that they can't stop their mind. It keeps on going and going and going. They think very negative and scary thoughts. They feel very negative, because listen, what you feel, what you think, and how you feel are they are intertwined. Those are two inseparable things. You can't think scary thoughts but feel peaceful. You can't think sad thoughts and feel happy. That's what I want us to get. If you get nothing else from this episode, just let that be your takeaway. Your thoughts affect your emotions, and then your emotions affect your behavior. Okay, and we will look at that when we are looking at several other things in the coming series. So when somebody is poorly is mentally unstable, or has poor mental health, they can't control their thoughts. They feel like a puppet. It's like they're being run by another force. Their thoughts are too much for them. Everything they think is overwhelming them, and therefore everything that they feel is overwhelming them. It's not only negative, because as we will see when we are looking at bipolar, we'll see that in mania and hypomania, people have all these grandiose and delusional thoughts and ideas and feelings that give them a very very happy hyper mood. But it's not always that when people are happy and hyperactive and excited that they are healthy. We will see all that. So that's what poor mental health looks like. So inability to control our emotions, our thoughts, our behaviors, our inability to connect with other people on a healthy level, and feeling like the best thing we could do for ourselves is isolate. So, that's what poor mental health looks like, and this is just the foundation that we're laying. We will come back to that and look at it in depth. So then, what is a mental disorder? It is any condition that affects our thoughts and our emotions and our social interactions and our behaviors. So it's not just one. It's not just one thing. It's not like when somebody doesn't want to hang out because they're reading a book, they're not necessarily mentally ill. The reason I say this is because we introverts are usually confused for people with depression and anxiety. It's not always the case. Somebody could be locked indoors and thoroughly having the time of their lives, reading a book or watching something or just chilling. Okay. I think that's it for today. But before I finish today's episode, I just want to say that in 2019, the President Uhuru Kenyatta formed a mental health task force, and that indicated that Kenya has a high burden of mental illnesses due to ill health or psychological disability and premature mortality. Of course, things like poverty, and all the huge gaps in access to mental health care and things like that. But there's help available for all of us, and we will look at that in future episodes. I think I'm going to wrap today's I don't want to be doing very long videos, so today I'm just going to wrap the video there with hopes that you learned something. And just a reminder, subscribe to this channel, give me your support, so that we can keep doing more videos. And if you have any suggestions of things that you would like us to talk about, kindly comment on the comment section below. And if you have some sort of knowledge, kindly don't shy away from sharing it. We all need it, because I believe that somebody will be reading the comment sections and feeling better informed and better enlightened. So thank you very much, guys, for watching this video. Until next time, I'm your all things mental health guy, Jay Mongi. Bye.